This little story. Till Death Do Us Part, a love story by Michelle Best. Our story begins in a holding cell at CBS. I've spent the last 2 days quarantined in the LaGuardia Marriott, little did I know. And I've been playing intense tournament-style eliminations of word association games with 35 other actors hoping to get on $1 Million Password with Regis Philbin. I'm playing a version of myself who's from Birmingham, Alabama, and Reed just calling me Shell. It relaxes me when people use my nickname. And I get on because the producers like my intensity. Do that thing you do with your eyes. Steven Weber is my partner, and he's more interested in my boobs than in winning $1 million, and judging by the location of his eyes. Steven is half focused, boobs, eyes, stick with my eyes, baby, come on. you guys know how to play, right? They give me a word, and then I got 3 words total, while each time Steven is trying to guess which word they gave me. I get the word croissant, a hard one. So I say in a French accent, breakfast, pastry, then lune, to try to get the shape of it. And Steven is a total blank. And I think, Jesus Christ, my French husband, Marcel, would have nailed that. Okay, next word, soccer. This one's easy. Football, England. I don't even wait to hear what he says. This is a technique that I've realized works. I just free associate on the next word, punch. So I just say Hawaiian. If we get this, I'm moving on to $75,000. If I miss it, I'm going home with $25,000. Marcel and I would be cruising at this. He would only have to look into my eyes. I loved Hawaiian punch as a kid. Marcel knows how I say it. Steven has no clue. So I switch gears. Boxing. But Steven is stuck on Hawaiian. I mean, Marcel would have known that I switched gears. If I could have only picked my partner. I mean, I loved you on Wings, Steven, but come on, what's $1 million to you when you got it like that, you know? If I win the million, we get our house out in LA, you know, we get working on sitcoms, and Steven gets distracted by my boobs again, and I watch my $1 million dreams fade into enough money to fix my teeth and do commercials. I get braces with the $25,000, and I get a new computer and new headshots after the braces are off. So for these 2 years, since you can't act with braces on, I'm producing, specifically comedy. And my husband is a super, and we have an entire city block, brand new. As the super, my husband can turn off fans, AC units, all of that. So we literally have a sound stage, a full production studio in Midtown. So instead of flying off for the Hollywood dream come true, I make my first sitcom back in New York City in my basement. Steven was a lousy partner. Marcel's the perfect partner for me. And I'm also blessed to have a great writing partner, Matt Higgins. And Matt and I co-write our first sitcom. It's called Halfway There, and it's a hit at the New York Television Festival. We fly out to LA to pitch it on the Universal lot to Lorne's production company. And I come home from LA to begin work on a play. It's theater where teeth don't matter. And we're rehearsing on the Upper West Side. There are lots of great markets up there for lunch, and Zabar's, Cinderella, every place near there has healthy takeaway servings. So I grabbed some beets with the intention of sharing them for dinner, but they are good, sweet. And through the course of the rehearsal, I mindlessly eat them all. That night, Marcel and I are getting ready for bed, brushing our teeth, peeing, and I catch a glimpse before flushing, and the whole toilet is red. Oh my God, Marcel, look! Oh my God, there's blood in my urine. Calmly, almost too calmly, because he's really been low energy lately, my husband says, "Didn't you eat a whole thing of beets, you said?" I'm immediately relieved, but he's not. He has a secret. He's going to tell me now. I know those eyes. What? What's wrong? Well, I actually have had some blood in my urine. What? When? Like recently, and like burns a little too. Burns? Like it hurts when I have to pee. Well, then go to the doctor. See, I knew you would make me go to the doctor, Shell. That's why I didn't tell you. We have 2 kids. Sometimes he's my third. Well, how long has this been going on? Like a year. A year? I don't know, maybe more, Shell? Oh my God, Marcel, well, you're going to the doctor. We have crappy insurance because we work for nuns. Think about it. Have you ever met a rich nun? We run a senior building full of really old and some mentally ill people, and a lot of them are both. And we have a really classic nun, Sister Anne, the program director there. If she weren't a nun, she'd make a great truck driver. I call her the enemy of joy. She fired CJ, everyone's favorite security guard, because the tenants loved her so much that they threw her a birthday party while she was on the job. Classic nun. She's the kind of woman who becomes a softball coach. You know, if she were on Orange is the New Black, she'd be a kingpin. She'd have a posse. She'd run a crew. And since nuns aren't known for being the wealthiest of employers, we have the crappiest health insurance that no money can buy, ensuring that we see only doctors who have to Google search while you're in their office just to find out what you have and how you treat that. I'm not kidding. Our family doctor who handles all of us, a 55-year-old man, a 36-year-old woman, and our 6- and 8-year-old girls, she does pap smears, vaccinations, prostate exams, the whole ball of wax without even changing her glove. And she thinks Marcel could use some antibiotics for a UT infection. And 30 days later, she thinks the antibiotics aren't strong enough and we should go again. And by the 3rd round of antibiotics, our insurance finally allows him to see a specialist, with a note from our primary care physician saying she has no idea what the hell it is. So the specialist is the next step. Now, this specialist is really fucking special. Neither doctor really speaks English, but this is New York, you know, so I'm cool with that, right? I mean, still, there's a language barrier, to say the least. Our Czech GP hands us off to this Korean GP who is majorly giddy. You wonder what kind of prescriptions he writes for himself and if they're even compatible, because he looks and sounds like he's constantly having bad drug interactions whenever he talks. Again, Marcel's prescribed antibiotics, prostate meds, drugs women can't touch, pregnant women should not handle, broken caplets kind of stuff, a shoebox full of prescriptions. And by July, this quack gives up too, and we're finally allowed to see a real doctor. Well, okay, Marcel is. I am on summer vacation at my parents' house in Nashville by myself with the kids for that summer, and Marcel will soon be joining us for his first vacation in 3 years. And that's when I get the call. I'm in the pool and I'm juggling 2 kids. It's Marcel, finally at a real, actual urologist. I dry off and I'm in my wet bathing suit upstairs in my room right around dinner time. A man hesitates. Hello? Mrs. Ledoux? And this is not my legal name because Marcel and I agreed Best is my name and Ledoux is his, and he wouldn't want to change his either, so he would never ask me to change mine. But as his wife, I never mind being called that. Yes? Your husband told me to talk to you as he doesn't want to know the results. I interject with some nervous joke about how he calls it mental boot camp. He doesn't want to know what's wrong with him. He just wants to know how to fix it. He can do anything he sets his mind to, applying mental boot camp. But we have found, speed it up, zombie. I'm dripping on the carpet here. Let's go, mister. A very large, very aggressive tumor on your husband's bladder, and it is obstructing his kidney at this time. Okay, well, what does that mean exactly? And now both of our voices are swimming in water, clear, but their meaning drowned somehow, wet and garbled all the same, even though we are being all too full of maximum intention, the life and death kind of intention. My zombie brain somehow cannot hear, though my ears do. I wish he would slow down more. Well, the tumor, what the fuck is he saying? Has eaten through the wall of the bladder. And it has eaten through the muscle of the wall. And it appears to have also made it through the fatty tissue as well. I hear the laughter coming from the pool. I can see them out the window. My little girl's so thrilled to be at Nana's house. Okay, so what do you do about that? Now, he tells me about what normally occurs in this case, normally a surgery and a reconstruction, and I go, it sounds horrible and long-term and arduous and involved and, well, risky. So is that what you're going to do? I do not believe that will be our course of treatment at this time. And the zombie has eaten my entire brain. The plan is to remove the bulk of the tumor and try to get the kidney working again. They think they can still save it. Dr. Zombie tells me to hop on a plane. I book a flight for 5 a.m. the next day. And how are you doing today? The caffeinated dude checking my ID at security says. I am not good. I am not good at all. Well, why is that? A pretty little lady like you off on a trip, what's there to worry about? I'm flying to my husband in New York who's having an emergency surgery right now, and I have to try to get there when he wakes up because he doesn't want to know that he has bladder cancer. I'm so very sorry, ma'am. All right, God bless you, and God bless him, and may God bless your family. Now you have a safe trip, and I'll be praying for you. And the zombie flies to New York, and is somehow, I forget how, now sitting in the recovery room with all the other people with loved ones in surgery, with my luggage in front of me, covered in snot and tissues. I'm fielding phone calls, only family and close friends at this point, and fearing the worst, I hang on to faith and hope. It becomes clear in this room of intimate strangers that I have had the least amount of time to comprehend what we are all doing here. Maybe it's the luggage. I'm the only one with actual literal baggage here in this room. And there are about 20 of us. An older woman near me keeps comforting me with her eyes. People listen in on my conversations. And after talking to Marcel's brother, Joe, I'm so upset an older gentleman crosses the room and hands me another box of tissues. My phone rings. Halfway there, success has put my name out there, and now my phone is ringing. My husband is in surgery, removing a very large, very aggressive tumor, and I hear, hi, Michelle, this is Courtney, Tracy Goldblum's assistant at Abrams. How are you doing today? Oh, I am wonderful, Courtney. Thank you. How are you doing today? Well, Tracy's looking forward to meeting you. We've heard so many great things about your work. Oh my God, thank you so much. I am so excited to get to meet Tracy. Matt and Ralph and Katie all rave about how amazing she is. Oh, well, we loved your picture and resume, and halfway there, congrats on your and Matt's success. It's so funny. So what do you think it will work for you to come in? Well, I'm pretty wide open after 2 weeks out. When's good for Tracy? Well, how does the 8th of September sound? Well, that sounds just perfect, Courtney. Absolutely perfect. Looking forward. Bye-bye. The older woman's eyeballs pop out of her head. The sweet old man wants his tissues back, and the nurse walks in and says, Mrs. Ledoux? The surgery went on too long. He needs another one, but it looks good. After all, he's probably going to make it. And I have an agent meeting. I have never in my life been so grateful to hug someone as this. I dive into Marcel. I'm shivering with relief, and he steadies me to look into my eyes. Shell, oh my God, you're really upset. What do they say? They told me I had stage 3 cancer and that it was a good chance that it had spread to 4 and that they needed to see to be sure, but they feared the worst, and instead they found the best case scenario. And his hand goes straight to his mouth. Oh my God, Shell, what you must have been through. Me, what I must have been through. Oh my God, hon, I am so sorry to have put you through that. My face rests against his chest, and I hear his heartbeat in my ear. I'm not going anywhere, you hear me? I'm doing whatever I gotta do to get better. Oh, I promise. Oh my God, I can't believe they told you that. It's okay, Shell. I'm okay, Shell. Mental boot camp. Hey, you okay? Yeah, I'm good. And guess what? Abrams called, and I got a meeting. Yes, that's my girl, Shell. That's my girl. So 2 days later, we're in the surgery for his kidneys. We're racking up cab bills. We never take cabs. We usually walk everywhere, but we have a lot of doctor's appointments now. And Marcel is too weak even for the train. This one's a quick inpatient laparoscopy. If all goes well, I'll see him within the hour, including post-op recovery. I adapt to the appointment schedule quickly at this point. I'm no longer a zombie. I'm a doctor myself. And now his 30-minute surgery to clear his kidneys lasts 2.5 hours. The guy who did it looks worn out. Man, we had a lot of difficulties. It was really blocked. It took a long time because if it could have gone wrong, it did. It was rough, but we finally got it. So he'll be good to go with chemo in a week. Now, this is where I wonder if I hear what the other doctors are actually telling me, or if I somehow just make up what I want to hear. The oncologist is by far the best at this, telling you what you want to hear. He, unfortunately, is a pro. He's downright delightful, chipper. And for the first time, we feel like we are in great hands. Look, Mr. Ledoux, I know you want to get down for your 2 weeks in Nashville to spend time with your girls, but I'd rather you spend the next 30 years with them instead. So I want to start right away. We do some blood tests today, and tomorrow you show up and we get the right cocktail formulated for you, and we hook you up right then and there, and you're that much closer to full health. Woo! He is our savior. A bright light surrounds us all as we shake hands and hug and smile at one another. Full health. That delightful ass motherfucker. Had I known what I know now, I wished that instead of hugging him, that I punched him in the face, knocking out some of his teeth with my wedding ring. He stole from us 2 weeks together with the knowing that we loved each other till death do us part, and that we had just missed it. And we could have been happy, swimming in the pool, excited, eating good food and laughing together. A loving family on vacation for 2 weeks in the summer, kids hanging out at Nana and Pop-Pop's house. So we cancel our flights for tomorrow and instead schedule the chemo. Marcel and I sleep locked in an embrace. We dodged a bullet, and we are grateful beyond measure that tomorrow is the first day of the rest of our lives. Until we see Dr. Delightful Ass Motherfucker. He's overcast today. He closes the door. Marcel and I are looking into one another's eyes with the communication of 12 years together, and our eyes are saying, uh-oh, this is not good. We hold hands tight. We sit opposite yesterday's table of joy, and we have no eye contact from Dr. Delightful Ass Motherfucker. Okay, so the blood work came back, and there's a few things here. This marker here is liver function, and well, have you lost weight recently? Yes, I answer, almost too quickly. Marcel's fit and chiseled, having 8-pack abs since we met. I mean, both babies lay on his tummy when they learn to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Daddy has 8 tummies. Maddie and Mommy only have 1 tummy. But I've noticed he's smaller. I mean, a little, he admits, like 6, 7 pounds, I guess. I mean, the doctor asks him if he wouldn't mind lying on the examining table, and as Marcel's back is turned, I mouth to the doctor, more like 15. I mean, he's really been lazy lately, so I chalked it up to not working out. Whoa, I haven't been working out a lot lately, so I'm not as hungry as I usually am, Marcel explains, and I think, oh my God, he has not been eating. How have I not noticed he's not eating? I mean, we have 2 kids and we work all the time. We live paycheck to paycheck and are busting ass to make our dreams come true. He's the super. The kids run around the building with him. Gracie, at 6, can change all the fan belts on the roof faster than he can because she has better eyes and tinier fingers. He calls them tinkerers, like Tinkerbell. And I do theater at night and on the weekends. And when we're proud Hell's Kitchenites, that's how you do it in Hell's Kitchen. You bust ass and you make your dreams come true. It's chaotic and loud, and we love our life. We're too busy living to give dying a thought. And while the doctor explains the markers and the indicators and the further testing, the veil comes down on my illusions as Monday morning quarterbacking begins. Like 2 months ago, when their friends had their best friend's birthday party at 3 o'clock and my rehearsal ran over, and I called Marcel asking him to take them. Come on, Marcel, it's 6 blocks. I already bought the gifts and wrapped them. It's starting right now. Just walk them over. But I'm tired, Shell. Can't you just take them? But I'm not going to be home for another half hour, and then it's like a 10-minute walk, and it's only a 3-hour party. So they'll be a little late, Shell. I just don't feel like taking them right now. Oh, fine. God, I have to do everything. Dr. Delightful Ass Motherfucker is still talking. So we'll just want to have you check into the ER because we can order all kinds of tests from there as emergency. That would take a full week to get done if we just admitted you into the hospital. And last month, Marcel had interviews for a new job that gets us away from the enemy of joy. And he had that super's job up on 138th Street. I mean, all he has to do is just bring the family up to meet the staff, a formality, and the job is his. And we're back in 32 BJ with union health insurance and a better salary and away from the goddamn nuns. We just have to go see the place, introduce the kids, and he won't go. Come on, Marcel, the job is yours. Let's just go for an hour. I'll get the kids all cleaned up. I just don't feel like it, Shell. I just need a Saturday off to rest. Just please drop it. I'm not going all the way up there today. And Dr. Delightful Ass Motherfucker keeps hope alive. There's a remote chance that the liver function is elevated because of gallstones. So we want a CT scan of the gallbladder first. This could all just be a false alarm here, so we need to get that done right away. There is an alarm, though. False or true, there is an alarm. Like sex. You know, we've had it about twice in the last 11 months, and I mean, even after kids, I'm not a bad looking woman, but when I get frisky lately, I'm like, come on, Marcel, you want to do it? Let's do it. He's like, what, now, Shell? And suddenly the veil has dropped completely, and I am looking eye to eye with our oncologist. So let's go ahead and get you a bed downstairs in the ER, and in a day or two, we'll have a clearer picture of just what these blood tests are really saying. I know what they're saying, and what all these tests confirm is that it's in his liver. And while Marcel is resting comfortably in his bed in mental boot camp, Dr. Delightful Ass Motherfucker tells me, and only me, 28 hours later, that he is certain, beyond a shadow of a doubt, as I brace myself against the wall in the hallway outside Marcel's earshot, is that we've now gone from curable to treatable. That's how he told me. We've gone from curable to treatable. I'm glad I braced against this wall because my legs fall out from holding me standing. Am I breathing? Yes, I'm breathing. Is he still talking? Why is his mouth still moving? Marcel, he doesn't want any bad news. This is bad news. Treatable, but not curable, as in terminal? Yes, Mrs. Ledoux, terminal is correct. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry for you and for Marcel and for your kids especially. He seems like a very good man. I'd imagine he's also a good father. I know this is hard for you, so I'll give you a moment. How long? Well, we want to get him in chemo right away so he could probably see a year. A year? I mean, depending upon chemo, we may see 3. Some people with this type of cancer have made it to 5, but you don't want to see what 5 looks like. It can get ugly. I have no idea what he means by this, but I am about to learn. The first stage of grief is denial. Now, denial is your friend, your security blanket at this point. Believe me, it's how you deal with your mother-in-law. Denial is not knowing what's going on. It's not fully comprehending the entire scope of what is now going on means in the scale of your life. Like when people say, I don't know how you're doing this. You're able to do it because of denial. It's your friend. That's one thing that baffles me at this stage. People saying, I don't know how you are doing this. Like as if somehow there's a choice in the matter and you've said to the universe, you know what? Sign me up for that. Yep, I'm going to go for it. What the hell? I actually remember and cherish the very first second of every day. The only one single moment of joy I feel in each day of this torment. I awake, stretch, and the very first inhalation is bliss. Oh, I'm awake, the sun is shining. Oh my God, my husband is dying and he's the super, so I'm going to be homeless. And how will Madeline and Gracie ever say goodbye to their father? And this is costing us a mint. And how do you do it? You just breathe. You keep breathing, so you have to do it. There's a reflex we have as humans. I learn about it later in the ICU, where no matter how hard you try to hold your breath, your lungs, as a reflex, will always just take in the next breath. You can't stop it from happening. That's how you do it. You keep waking up, then you deal with what arises in the day, and then you keep taking air into your lungs, breath after breath. I don't die, and so I do it. We head towards the first chemo session like it's the first day at a new school. Marcel does not know that he is treatable, but not curable. I've brushed by the topic to see if he can handle this yet, and it is not the time. Will it ever be? Now he's on loads of anti-anxiety and antidepressants and some pretty good painkillers, so he's being very funny. His sense of humor is the chief reason I married him, and he is killing me these days with the one-liners. This is so unbelievable, Shell. Bladder cancer, huh? Talk about being pissed off. He's got all these cute nicknames for the doctors and nurses, like the one who brings him dinner is Nurse Dinner Bringer. And I can't tell him now. I mean, we're still in the ER while they prepare a bed upstairs in the hospital, and we have 3 more days until his kidneys can handle things, and he's on so many goddamn drugs, they have to keep him here just to administer everything. I mean, apparently, the pain has and should have been quite severe for a long time, and without that, Marcel is light and unburdened, and the lauded is helping. It seems that when you're treatable but not curable, they treat you to whatever helps you through. Marcel, in his newfound euphoria, loves the cafeteria trays, loves being in bed and waited on. So we're actually kind of excited to just chill here for 3 days and then go down and get the chemo, and then we just go home and let it work. He's lying in a hospital bed, and I'm in a chair pulled up against it. Our faces are close. I gotta rest a little more, huh? This is the first time I've rested in months. I just sat down and rested. Is that what the doctor thinks, Shell, huh? Too much stress? Resting up will make me better, huh? That's what I got to do to fix it? Well, I mean, like, what if it can't be fixed? No way, Shell. Is that what he said? It can't be fixed? No. He didn't say that. Well, not those words exactly. I mean, I'm just saying, this is serious, you know? I'd rather have the lie. The lie keeps us on a nice date together, snuggling and holding hands. It could be the fake heroin he's on, or the fact that the Valium he had gotten earlier is now nowhere near helping him, so I now call it mine. But we're all lovey-dovey here in the ER waiting for a room upstairs. Why, Marcel? Why don't we just always love one another all the time? Why do we ever fight or disagree? We used to hold hands a lot, and right now it feels like it's rare. Oh, gosh, Shell, we don't take time. Nobody does. Not just us. We just keep looking to what we want that we haven't got yet. But Marcel, look at our kids, We have such a great life, and we're building it together. Well, you're a great partner, Michelle. You're my best friend. If I put all my favorite people in a line according to how much I like them, you'd be at the front of that line. I love you, Marcel. As soon as I met you, I knew I couldn't be on the same planet with you without wanting to know what you thought about stuff. And I couldn't believe how lucky I was to get you, Shell. I thought I would just end up with some dumb woman from the laundromat. And then we hear him. I know, man, but I gotta get something to drink, man. Nobody's got me a drink. It's our Hell's Kitchen Puerto Rican drug addict that hangs out on our corner where we live. Every New Yorker has their guy. He's ours. And he's here in the ER with a pitcher in one hand and the back of his hospital gown in the other. Oh, no way, Shell. He's fucking everywhere. We can't get away from this guy. I'm laughing when our Puerto Rican sees me. Oh, hey, man, what are you two doing here? Bladder cancer, Marcel adds quick. This guy deals in street truth. Marcel gives him the straight dope. No shit, man. That fucking sucks, man. Yo, you live all clean, too. That fucking just ain't right, man. Shit, man. You got those 2 girls. You gonna be all right and everything, right, man? He looks at me. This street thug feels the truth. His instincts for truth keep him alive. He knows. I divert. What about you? What are you here for? Oh, me? I got hit by this car like 2 weeks ago and my leg keeps acting up. So I come in here so they give me that good shit. At this time, the waitress/nurse snatches his pitcher and ushers him back to the bed, and Marcel and I are in stitches. No way, Shell. This guy is haunting me here on my deathbed. Deathbed, he said. He knows. He knows, I know he knows, and that's all we need to say. Our Puerto Rican saw it. Marcel saw him see it. I saw Marcel see it, and he saw me see him see it. So now we don't have to say it. So we won't. We're in his new hospital room upstairs by dinner time, and we have our first guest, CJ. She's the security guard that the enemy of joy will eventually fire because she is the funniest, most likable, compassionate mama you will ever meet. This woman is love and acceptance incarnate. She is so resilient, she bounces because there's not much she has not survived growing up in Bed-Stuy. When Marcel and I let the kids spend the night at her apartment one time when they begged us to let us go with her for the weekend, we got a call from Madeleine Saturday night that it was so exciting. They called it a drive-by, and we all had to get under the kitchen table, like all of us, even CJ, and she was screaming, "Get down, get down!" And it was really exciting, Mommy. CJ has been through life, and instead of making her shy away from it, she has rolled up her sleeves and dived in face first for more. Our senior center apartment, CJ visits everyone in the hospital, and with seniors, that's a lot. She bakes her favorites, a cake for your birthdays, and she lies to the assholes you don't want bothering you at 8 a.m. and tells them you'll be back at 11. She's good people. And she and Marcel are it. They run the show. They get along all peas and carrots, and they make each other laugh. CJ tells the best stories ever. Her life is insanely wonderful, and right now, she's on about how little patience she has with doctors and hospitals. When I had to have Eddie for a C-section, that was the first time I had to go under the knife, and they was like, "We got the old baby out." And they had them to come some convincing to do, because I was like, "No, the hell you're not." And they was like, "Miss, you gonna die, your baby gonna die, and they grabbed that razor and they was gonna shave me. And I fly up off that table like, oh, hell no, you ain't touching my girl. See, I loved it, did my hair down there. I mean, I loved it. Like, you don't understand. Like, I put braids and stuff and little barrettes in my cornrows. That was my girl. And so by instinct, I just grabbed the damn scalpel like, you can't cut me, you can cut me, but you ain't touching my girl. Take my baby out or let my baby die, but you is not shaving my girl. Marcel is hooked up to a catheter bag to drain his kidneys so they can heal faster, and his bag fills up. He's literally pissing himself because her story has him laughing so damn hard. And I remember thinking, God bless her. She knows how sick he is, and she is just moving us through this, laughter being the best medicine. I am so grateful that she is here. She makes unbearable moments enjoyable. She has a PhD in living life out loud, and I love her. She tells me to take a break, and she has this, and I ought to go get some food. Instead, I have a good cry and call my mom to see if the girls are having an okay time in Nashville. No, he's as good as he has been since this started, and the drugs they have him on right now, my God, he probably should have been on Ativan his whole life. Yeah. So there's one thing though, Mom, that they told me. He has a year, like, left. No, I mean, for real. He could make it to 3, but it's terminal. And they told me, but he doesn't want to know. Well, he told me not to. I think he has some kind of an idea. I know, that's what I was thinking. I do believe in miracles, but that is really what is going to have to happen, though. Mom, he said it. He said treatable. No, he said not curable. Yes. And I said terminal. And he said yes. When I come back to the room, our new nurse dinner bringer is there, and my writing partner, Matt, is here testing out some new material for the Andy Kaufman finals. The laughter is so loud, the nurse closes the door but stays inside. She gets Marcel an extra dinner. He doesn't want outside food because the little cafeteria trays make him nostalgic. And it's a party tonight. I sleep fine tonight, terrified and on Valium, and fine. And I wake up feeling like I got through yesterday. And so I will again today. Today, Marcel has a new roomie to match his new outlook. They call him Ishmael. Ishmael has stomach ulcers from driving a cab in New York City, and his wife keeps her head covered and down. She's there to unpack him, and then I never see her again. I already had a good breakfast, Shell. They're taking really great care of me, and I'm already eating more, and I feel so much better. It isn't even funny. Ishmael, Michelle, Ishmael. Don't worry, Shell. I already told him the whole story. He came in late last night. We both got painkillers, so we're cool right now. I'm seeing what Marcel must have been like in college. He was so gorgeous. The wrinkle lines I usually see in his forehead are all relaxed down. His teeth are beautiful. And that smile, oh, my heart is full. I throw myself into his embrace. Jesus, Ishmael, I ought to get cancer more often. The missus can't get enough of me. Suddenly there's a ticking time bomb, and I hear every click. One more birthday each, me, him, the girls. One more Christmas, one more Halloween, our anniversary, because that's the night we met. One more everything, the last everything. One last day each of this year. I catch myself. Wrong road. I look to the floor like Ishmael's wife. I'm a liar. I hold the lie tight. Ooh, this is a great view you have here. Times Square, huh? I use the curtains to wipe my tears. I'm not allowed in until rounds are over, and this morning I get ready like I am going on a date. I want to look beautiful for my husband. I want him to be happy and for life to be a party. I'm the silver lining. That's what I was on the Halloween night I met Marcel 12 years ago. A dark cloud with a silver lining. I wore a black dress, and I put silver tape all around the outside of me like an outline, and I wear shiny silver shoes, and I spray my hair silver too. I spray paint clumps of cotton balls black and pin them all over me. And nobody gets it right, but I'm clearly something, and everybody makes guesses. You're being attacked by rats, is Marcel's guess. And he's so interested in the answer and thinking he's close, but it's his intensity that wins my favor. He's smart. He's curious. And his eyes penetrate me. Attacked by rats. He's won the guessing game. No, a dark cloud with a silver lining. Wow. I never saw anybody dress as an idiom before. That's awesome. He would later propose to me with a poem called An Angel Whispered in My Ear about that meeting on Halloween. All Hallows Eve, when the spirit world is at its most active. I met you, Michelle, on All Hallows Eve, when an angel whispered in my ear, make way, it's her, she's here. And that angel must have shoved me that night too, because from that moment on, we were Marcel and Michelle, or as the hungover priest at our wedding called us, Marshall. The day of our wedding, on the altar, he asked, Marshall, do you take, and then not knowing whether he'd said Marcel or Michelle, he just repeated it. Marshall, to be your lawfully wedded wife. Marshall and Marshall. That's who we were, and that's what we called ourselves. Well, when we weren't playing Tony and Sharon or Harlan and Mabel, I mean, we have fun characters we play together. Tony and Sharon are our Italian native New Yorkers. Tony deals coke, and Sharon gets her nails done and keeps fit and decorates. Oh my God, oh my God, Tony, look at all this stuff. I gotta have that gold leaf mirror for the hallways. Whatever you want, Sharon, baby, you got it, my little meatball. Harlan and Mabel Goodass are our other alter egos. They've been married for 40 years and love their rocking chairs on the porch and live clean country living. The big city ain't their bag. Harlan? Yeah, Mabel. That's done died, Harlan. Yeah, Mabel, I've seen. He ain't moved in a few days. We're now in Hope, the capital city in the state of denial. We are in the heartland, in the center of it all. Marcel is Hope's new mayor, and Ishmael and I are resident constituents. I go get us all some coffee once Matt arrives and the joking commences and the boys are shooting the shit. Go get some good coffee, Shell. That's the only thing that sucks here is the coffee. Well, I can actually think of one or two more things that suck. And when I come back, Ishmael's out having tests and Matt's off to rehearsal and Marcel and I are alone. Shell, guess what? He's looking at me with his curious, beautiful blue eyes. I fall into them. Ishmael told Matt she loves him, meaning you, Shell. He said, can you believe how much she loves him? And he meant you, Shell, that you really love me. Marcel, I have loved you like this for 12 years, and it takes an ulcerated cabbie to finally get you to see how much. Well, it hit me all at once when he said it, you know, like not to me, like it was hearing it said, like about me, about you, that made me see it. You love me, Shell. Is this the bargaining phase? Well, the phase where if we begin to care for one another, like God will spare us this next part if we start to act saintly and say and do all of the highest self things we avoid on a daily basis? Maybe denial is easier. Yes, Marcel, I love you enough that I married you. I had your children, you idiot. I sleep in your bed every night. Yes, I love you, God. I love you too, Shell. I love you this much. Tomorrow, we do chemo. Fucking chemo. He swore he'd never do it. We both have sworn up and down that it's toxic and it makes you sicker because it kills all the good stuff along with the bad. And when Marcel was first offered it, the second the oncologist closed the door so we could discuss it, Marcel shifted to me. I know what I said, Shell, and we have to do the chemo, okay? I'm doing it because I'm too scared not to do it. So whatever you do, Shell, don't try to talk me out of it because I'm doing it, okay? Okay. So tomorrow we do it. It's the most normal, weird ass shit you ever do, chemo. We're sitting there and a happy nurse comes in with an IV. I mean, he already has a port from all the drugs they give him now, so they don't even have to poke him with a needle. They just hook him up to a bag and boom, we're doing chemo. I brought him his favorite green shirt because he gets to go home finally after this. So he's wearing green, the heart chakra color, I always think when he wears it. Marcel's heart is so big. He has so much empathy. And one of my favorite things he does is he puts his hand to his heart and the other to his mouth whenever something shocking or bad happens to anyone, even in commercials. It's like he has heartstrings so powerful that they pull his hands right up to protect him whenever they get tugged. They bring in a therapy dog to pet to relieve stress. We're the chemo people now. We are them. We pet the fucking dog. I don't like anything about it, and I am a lying faker. Marcel nods off. Little do I know, very little. Mom, he's sleeping. No, this is so awful. I don't know how Nana did this. Everyone's acting all normal. It's so weird. Everyone here is dying, and they're all just sitting in these recliners, petting a dog and smiling. I don't get it. No, I mean, I'm handling it well. Well, just let them know that we love them and that Daddy is doing what he needs to do to get better so he can see them. Yeah, I'm just grateful that they're having fun and that they don't have to see any of this. Yeah, I love you too, Mom. And Mom, don't worry. Somehow I'm handling this. The house is only 7 blocks from the hospital down 10th Avenue, and we still have to take a cab. Marcel can barely walk. Jeez, this chemo is serious shit. We're both nervous about coming home because all we want to do is be alone and rest, but he's the super. So there are lots of people wanting to wish him a get well soon. He wants to see 0 of them because they're more his work than his friends. CJ guards and keeps them all at bay. I don't answer the door that night, even if there's a long knock. I'm sending the message, leave us alone. I'm reading the backed up mail and the chemo materials. Marcel's zonked. He's on the couch and occasionally wakes up to say something really weird and then nods back off. The list of side effects in the chemo packet makes me nauseous. I switched from the chemo magazine to the mail. The enemy of joy has requested that we hand back over his cell phone so the replacement super can use it, and recommends that we file for disability since he will have no salary. The enemy of joy will continue to let us live in the apartment rent-free for 60 days when she will consider whether or not he will be able to resume duties, or she will ask them to search for his replacement and begin eviction proceedings. I put down the mail because already the medical bills are mostly what the pile is. I mean, there's a few get well soons in there, so I fish out the mail in the colored envelopes with the handwritten addresses and leave the white typewritten ones with the hospital logos on them for another time. At least Marcel's not using his cell phone anyway right now. I fucking hate the enemy of joy, and so I throw the cell phone on her desk without a word and go back into my apartment. The PTA moms have had a chance to organize, and they want to know if I use Fresh Direct or not. They want to know how to help, and one mom is over on her way with a colon cleanse with coffee so that the chemo isn't as toxic. I've only given Marcel an enema once when we weren't even engaged yet, oddly. And that was one of those times that I knew I was going to marry him. He was having a procedure done and asked me if I would help. And I remember leaving him ass up in the bathroom and running into our room to laugh into a pillow at the absurdity of squeezing off a bottle of liquid into my lover's cute butt. Talk about intimacy. It made me think, I'm probably going to marry this man. Oh, and now he's on the bathroom floor, and I have a bag of organic coffee hanging from the shower bar, and I'm repeating the scene from our pre-engagement. Carolyn said that this coffee enema helps delete the toxins released by the chemo, so you get less damage to the good cells by getting the toxins out faster. I'm all good, Shell. Hey, Shell, I smell coffee. Are you making coffee? Marcel, that's what this is, coffee. His eyes look funny. Am I getting ready for battle then? Yeah, I guess. In a way, the battle of your life. I'm gonna go ride then. I'll just get on the ride. It's like a cloudy day at the ocean. You can always ride the rides. All right. Okay, yeah, I gotta reread that chemo packet, see if garbled thoughts and speech are part of the side effects. I wonder if I should still give him the Dilaudid too. What the hell's the difference at this point? I clean him all up. He won't let me take off the green shirt, so I just keep it on him and dress him in his boxers and jammy bottoms and literally drag him to bed like he's crawling, but I'm dragging him. And he's in bed. And so I call over Kristine Niven, my creative mother, and I tell her that I cannot sleep in this house by myself. I'm too scared. I lied to my actual mother today, so I call the next best person, and I don't care that she's already had her scotch for the night. So she comes, and we try to ignore the elephant in the bed. Tomorrow, I take him back to the oncologist who will let us know that the chemo has worked. So I sleep. I don't know how, but I sleep. Luckily, since we run an old folks home, we have a lot of wheelchairs in the basement. Marcel is not able to get out of bed. Kristine has left a lovely note about seeing me sleep and not wanting to wake me, call if I need, all that jazz. And I need to get Marcel the 7 blocks to Roosevelt St. Luke's. So I literally swing him from the bed into a wheelchair, and I'm pushing him up the hill to Dr. Delightful Ass Motherfuckers. I mean, I'm no expert at this, but there is something wrong. I'm supposed to look out for a fever, so I keep taking Marcel's temperature, 94.3, 95.2, 94.5. I obviously need a new thermometer, but he hasn't developed a fever. So I asked the nurse drawing his blood, can you check his vitals? No, we don't need any of that. We just need the blood. But his eyes look weird and he's not talking much. He's a very sick man, Miss Ledoux. It's a lot to deal with. So I wheel him back to the waiting area. Days of Our Lives is still on TV. Stefano DiMera is still obsessed with Marlena after 30 years and 2 demonic possessions. Marcel's nodding off again. I'm holding his hand and he's not holding back. I'm starting to get an idea of what ugly the doctor was talking about when people make it to 5 years. Like, it's not really living, but more existing. Nobody cares how long we're in the waiting room. It's all waiting from here on out. Mrs. Ledoux, how has he been? Dr. Delightful Ass Motherfucker is breathless. Is there anything you would consider strange about Marcel's behavior? Well, there's nothing I would consider normal. The nurse rushes into the waiting room and grabs his wheelchair while Dr. Delightful Ass Motherfucker grabs me. We're moving, all 4 of us, and fast. The blood test shows fatal levels of potassium. We have to get him to the ER right now. Fatal? Now? It's happening now? Well, not if we can get him pumped full of liquids and get the potassium stabilized. We have to hurry or his heart will seize, and then we won't be able to, but not if I can help it, Miss Ledoux. Your husband will not die today, but we have to move. Could it be his temperature is only 94? Oh, the nurse is now interested in his vitals. Yes, I thought maybe the thermometer was broken. No, that's what I'm getting. His heart rate is low too. BP dangerously low. Let them know he needs a bed stat. Is he gonna die? Probably not. I mean, we can fix this. We will most likely stabilize him for today, and then we'll have to figure out what happened and just how to make it stop. And they get on him with a team of 5, and I'm pushed out of the room, watching them cut off his green heart chakra shirt with a pair of scissors. Mom, they said fatal levels. They said now. Yes, I need you. I need help now. She's making gifts for dad with the girls at the pottery place. And calmly, she has to get them away from their art and get them on a plane so that they hopefully will be able to see him one last time. Wait, what? It's already time to have to tell the girls? I haven't even told his family all the way. Joe, it's Marcel. They're using words like fatal. What? About him? They're using that word about him? Yeah, Joe, it was the chemo. It did something. It started last night when we got here today. Ma'am, you have to get off the cell phone. You're not allowed to use a cell phone in here. An adamant security guard gets in my face. Captain Serious rules. Who's with you? Somebody needs to be there with you. I know, Joe. I just called my mom and told her the same thing. So I have a new job and a lot to do with the house and the kids. Do you think I should fly out? I don't know, Joe. I just only know that this is happening really fast. And they use the word fatal. They cut off his favorite shirt. Ma'am, you may not be on the cell phone in this area. Where is he? Can I talk to him? He can't talk, Joe. He hasn't spoken since last night. Oh my God, Michelle, who's there with you? Nobody, Joe, but I think it might be time. Ma'am, I'm gonna have to ask you to get off your cell phone right now. And I am gonna have to ask you to realize where you work. I know where I work, ma'am. And this is the emergency room, and that's why you may not be on the phone in this area. Captain Serious rules, points to the sign. And if this is where you work, then you have got to realize that some people in this area have just gotten word that their husband is dying, and they may not really read your little sign right there because they need people who love them to be here right now, and they have to call them to get them here. And there are some times in life where the rules do not apply. Captain Serious Rules decides he might ought to leave me alone on this one. And we're in the ICU by nightfall. Overnight, terminal has become fact, truth, out in the open. I can only imagine the talk and phone calls that begin right now in this moment. The clarion call. Sound the alert. Marcel, with his 8-pack abs and his mental boot camp, has fallen. And now we're just going to have a brief 10-minute intermission, and there will be a little slideshow, and you guys can feel free to take care of anything you need to take care of, and we'll be back for the third act in 10 minutes. Okay, so back into Act 3. Today, as I head in, aware that reinforcements are on their way, I've already taken a Vicodin. Fuck Valium. I need a break from feeling today. Marcel doesn't feel either. He's intubated and sedated, and they've upped his Dilaudid, and he's blown up like the little girl in Willy Wonka. They have to fill him up with fluids and then drain him like a big sack to wash out the potassium. And they explained to me that the chemo, which is designed to break up the tumors, has done just that. But Marcel is in the less than 0.2% margin, which Dr. Delightful Ass Motherfucker is proud to say is the smallest margin they're allowed to quote. Marcel is in the less than 0.2% of patients that has a certain reaction where the tumors have reattached themselves and begun growing all over his GI tract. So he will be in the medical journals. He's now in liver and kidney failure with full body tumors. 2 weeks ago, all he had was a UT infection. Joe and my mom show up around the same time. Madeleine and Gracie are not here because nobody can tell them yet. He's the best dad. He's there all the time. They play in the park 4 days a week and all day on Saturday. He's the kind of dad you dream of. I mean, they're his life. We all just sit there, mute. They cannot believe that I've been on my own until now. And now, today, I just stay on painkillers, grateful that I'm no longer alone. Although I begin to understand that alone is how I'm going to raise my kids. His mom is the next to see him like this. She enters the room a church mouse. She leans over him, her beautiful boy. I feel like she might start praying, and instead she starts to beat the shit out of him. You wake up, you get up, get out of this bed right now. You're not dying, you're not dying, you get up, you get up. My Anne-Marie, stop hitting him. He's in agony right now. You can't do that. Then she turns on me. You terrible, horrible woman. How you dare you let him do this? You horrible, mean woman. And the ICU nurses, 3 of them, finally get her out of the room. My mom rushes back in. I mean, Marcel's mom has survived a hell of a lot. She survived the German occupation in France. She raised her firstborn son with Down syndrome. She's come to America and raised 6 kids, but she is not going to say goodbye to Marcel without a fight. She doesn't care who she fights. She handles things the best, actually, of all of his family. We're in the anger phase now. Personally, I'm skipping that part with drugs and making it into a depression phase instead. I mean, they say not everyone goes through all the stages. Marcel is only really close with his brother Joe, who moved to Michigan 2 months ago. He has 2 sisters and 3 brothers, and he's the second oldest. Jean-Pierre, his older brother with Downs, is closer than Joe. I mean, these 2 have a mystical bond. Jean-Pierre is pretty low on the verbal abilities, and watching Marcel with Jean-Pierre together was another reason why I wanted to marry my husband. Marcel has a soft spot for the underdog his whole life because of his big brother. On our wedding day at the altar, Marcel stopped the service because Jean-Pierre's shoe was untied and Marcel didn't want him to trip. So he stopped our wedding to tie it. Marcel's family did not bring Jean-Pierre. Marcel did not get to say goodbye to his big brother because the family thought it would be too confusing. I'm starting to understand mental boot camp and why not knowing is easier for the Ledoux clan. His sister Trish will never see us after the funeral, never see any of us again because she can't. His other sister, Annie, who neither Marcel nor I really like, is surprising the shit out of me with her hugs and her unspoken kindness. Joe comes into Marcel's room. Michelle, you can't kick my mom out of here. It's her son. She has a right to see him. Joe, she was beating him. What the hell are you talking about, beating him? Yes, Joe, my mom chimes in. She was hitting Marcel and then started hitting Michelle and calling her all kinds of names, and she can't do that. Joe, he's in agony. He's already told me that the arms and shoulders are the only place that doesn't kill. He's not in an induced coma, but sedation has him out for the count. And though he ripped out his intubation during the night, it's only when the pain meds wear off that he utters a whispered sentence or two and then nods back off. I feel him, though, these next few days. I hear his voice in my head. I say things like, I think Marcel wants it quiet in here. And then I hear him sigh like, oh, thank you, you know. So we go to the waiting room where everyone is now gathered, and Joe takes my arm and puts his other arm around his mother. Ma, you know, we can't take this out on Michelle. In fact, I don't know how the hell she's doing this, but it's the hardest on her right now, Ma. So you gotta really be nice to her right now. I know, I'm so sorry. I get so mad. I can't look at him like this. I am out of my mind. I love you, Michelle. I am so sorry. And that was the only time she ever said those words to me or to anyone else, so far as I ever heard. I love you. And I walk her back to his room, holding her up. And I leave her alone to say to each other whatever they can muster, verbal or otherwise. My kids arrive and are happy to see all their aunts and uncles. Madeleine's about to turn 9, so she gets it and cuts to the chase. Mom, Dad's really sick, huh? I hold them both so close they're on my lap, my kids, just like Marcel's and Marie's kid. Yeah, Maddie, he's really sick. Is he gonna die? Well, we all have to die sometime. But Daddy, is he gonna die now? Well, not today, but he is so sick that this is the sickness that's gonna make him die. Yes. Well, I want to go see him. I want to talk to him. Okay, but not today, okay? Because he's only awake a little teeny bit of time each day. And so he still has to get a little better so that he can see you. And with that, they're satisfied for now to just see both grandmas in the same room. And they have an exciting story about an emergency flight and how nice everyone keeps being. And they are the distraction for all of us here. The kids are the silver lining. I've already asked Marcel if he wants to see them. And all he said is, I can't. And I know what he means. There are 2 men dying right now in the ICU. And there are 2 wives holding court for the week and 2 families interchanging members in the waiting area. Glenda and I are the 2 wives. Her husband got out of the shower and dropped to the floor in a heap with a brain aneurysm. He's not going to wake up. And since Glenda is also an ICU nurse, she has all of her cohorts doing everything in their power to make sure there's nothing they can do before they pull the plug. We are the gracious greeters of the peoples our husbands work with. We give the updates to the family members who are not allowed in the room, but still feel the need to be near, not knowing where else to be. We're the ones dealing with the major decisions. We're under the most stress. We get one another to the last stage of grief. acceptance. In a way, Glenda, even though we're both surrounded by family, you and I are the closest ones here. I feel the same way, Michelle. Nobody knows what I'm going through as much as you do. They asked me again about the DNR today. Are you going to sign it? I have to. I asked him, and he kept his eyes closed, but he said, I'm done. This isn't me, Shell. If anything happens, let me go. You're lucky, you still sort of have him. I mean, my husband, he's brain dead now, and I know that there is no way that he will wake up. I watch families refuse to take the person they love off of life support. Seen this 100 times. But being here on this side of it, I'm so disappointed in myself, but I absolutely cannot make that decision. I know I'm supposed to, Michelle, and I cannot do it. Well, I told him I would make it, I told him that I was strong enough and that he could go if he wanted to and that he didn't have to fight anymore. And Glenda, I don't know why you and I are together going through this right now, but I do feel like telling you that while I'm lucky enough to actually hear him say the words, your husband, if he could, I think he would tell you what to do. And my husband took that decision away from me. So maybe you should hear that too and just know that that's what he would say. I know that's what he would say if he could. But you got the words, Michelle. He gave you quite a gift. And the next morning, he is sitting up in bed, awake. I throw everything down the hallway when I see him awake. Don't touch me, Shell. Everything hurts, okay? I'm done, Shell, right? I'm done, huh? Well, the doctors are saying a few months. Maybe you can even be well enough to leave the hospital, but yeah, this is only ending one way. You think I should wait and tell the doctor, or do you think I can just go? Well, I think that without all this stuff they're doing, they're keeping you alive. So without it, I'm ready, Shell. And I want a Coke. Can I have a Coke? Not a diet, Shell, a real Coke. Yes, I run to the nurse. She tells me he refused his meds today so that he could see me and talk. My mom rushes in, same as me, his brother too. We all say whatever we can, and 2 kids visiting someone else giggle past in the hallway. He sparks up thinking it's ours, kids, and Mom and I notice. Would you like me to go get the girls so that you can say goodbye to them? My mom is braver than me. The hunger in my husband's eyes. The answer is yes, a loud yes, and a yes for all times. I want to see those kids. Without a verbal response, my mom calls the friends who has them, and they'll be here within 10 minutes. Let's get this man a Coke. Again, after 4 days of watching him lie motionless in bed, having to place my head against his neck to hear any words he manages to utter, I am like Icarus, and he is my son. I cannot get close enough to him or manage to take enough of him in. Marcel, I love you so much. You've given me this beautiful life, these beautiful kids. I love you so much. Michelle, I love you too, and I'm real sorry I let this happen. Oh, just stop it, Marcel. I know, babe. And then the children burst in. Madeleine is cautious, but has his same curiosity. Oh my God, Madeleine, you are beautiful. He hasn't seen her all summer, and she looks so beautiful in a new outfit and tan. Hi, Dad. I'm sorry you're so sick. Me too, Maddie. And you know what? I want you to promise to me that you'll always keep singing, no matter what. Gracie has jumped into my arms and can't look at him. She's only 6 and whispers into my ear, I love my daddy, but I can't look at him because that's not my daddy. The mask of death is on his face. That's all I can hear of the goodbyes. This is not right, not natural. And to this day, this is the one moment I cannot process, even still, saying goodbye to your children. I don't know how you can do it. And he did it. Anne-Marie did it. Madeleine even ran back in after the formal goodbye, and Marcel was re-injured at the fresh sight of her. Madeleine, please don't make this any harder. Sorry, Dad, but Nana left her purse in here, and I was the only one brave enough to come back in. Plus, I just wanted to see you one more time. CJ had brought a goofy little doll made of ugly pins and macrame, and she and Marcel have a game where they like giving each other the ugliest things they can find from the old people's recycling room. Marcel, even now, still quick thinking and funny, sees it on the window ledge and says to Madeleine, and what will be his last words to her, "Hey, Maddie, can you do me a favor? Get this ugly doll out of here for me, would ya?" "Sure, Dad," she giggles, giving him one last kiss. "I love you." And that was it. Marcel asks for pain meds, and I know this is the last time we will ever speak. He says, "Well, that's it, Shell. I'm off to see the wizard." And he holds his breath and tries to go, and his oxygen machine starts beeping. And I think, no way, this is it? And then he takes a breath. Well, that didn't work. Nope. And this is the first time in our marriage where we can't laugh. I learned something in retelling this story to the ICU nurse as she tells me what an amazing man he is. We're rolling the gurney up to palliative care, and I notice he's not breathing. "Marcel, you can't hold your breath to death. The ICU nurse says you'll always re-breathe. It's involuntary." I hear him. We talk non-verbally from here on out. I keep my hand on his shoulder at all times. I'm Helen Keller and he's Annie Sullivan, and as long as we physically touch, I can hear him. And while we await our room, or rather before I realize what dying in the hospital is like, we go up to the room he was in last week before chemo. Shock is settling in, and I realize that without paying the $500 per night for the private room, my husband will die in a room with a roommate with loud announcements going off every 30 minutes and with random people coming in and out every 15. I am a scared animal. And when Nurse Dinnerbringer pops in, she says, "I saw that Mr. Ledoux was on his way back from the ICU, so I saved him a dinner tray, knowing how much he loves his food." Oh no, what happened? He's not going to make it. Oh my God. But he was so lively. He was just here. I know. It was the chemo. That was too fast. I saved him dinner. I saw he was coming back and I was so excited. I can't believe I never imagined. I know. Me too. I'm sorry. You have 2 girls, huh? Yeah. He got to say goodbye. I'm so sorry. He was a great man. And she touched his toes and cried her way out. This is the first time I hear him referred to in the past tense. The private 14th floor is gorgeous, like a luxury hotel. I am shocked that this kind of place even exists. It's so glorious. The tile looks like wood floors. The wallpaper is hunter green and burgundy with gold stripes, lavish. And as they get him into the bed, the nurse from palliative care gets right in my face. "And how are you? Do you need anything?" I've only ever had people I was kissing this close to my face, you know. I'm okay, I guess. How long is this going to take? About 24 to 48 hours is the usual time frame for someone in your husband's condition. And I realize that I am now the patient. Oh, and what exactly is going to happen? Well, first, his lungs will begin to fill up with fluid. And that's what they were doing downstairs, is flushing that fluid out. But now it will fill up his lungs, and then he will have no oxygen. So then his heart will stop. And don't worry, he won't be in any pain. And when it gets close, we have some extra morphine we're allowed to give. So that usually helps in the end. And now people have heard, and they keep trying to visit him as if there is someone to visit. Friends, PTA moms, even the enemy of joy is here. And I am so delighted to turn her away. Marcel downstairs asked me if he was hallucinating. And I said, probably, yes. And he said, good. He already said, who the hell is that? When he saw his little brother, Lou. And the ICU nurses tell me this is normal. He keeps trying to lift his arms up to the sky, and he sits up slowly. And they explain, yeah, they'll do that, meaning dying people. Dying people will try to lift themselves up out of their bed to get to heaven or to reach for whoever is welcoming them, I think. And after not hearing him for almost a week, like his old self in full voice, he jerks up and his last words are, Shell, this guy's dead. The man's dead, Shell, right? What the hell is going on? He's dead, right, Shell? The man's dead. And then he plops back into a coma-like state. Someone was there to get him. Conveniently, at home right now, the sewer has begun leaking up through the pipes, and our apartment has just begun flooding with sewage. Honestly, right now. This has happened twice before, and with no help at all, Marcel and I figured out how to fix it and drain it and clean up all the poop from our kitchen. The enemy of joy's bosses knew this might happen, so they had the drain, which would overflow, placed in the kitchen sink of the super's apartment so that we would be the first to know. My mom has informed the enemy of joy's bosses that they better clean this up right away, and that they'll be receiving a bill for her and my children to sleep in the Skyline Hotel down the street, and that she is also a lawyer and will happily see them pay it. And it takes 4 men, his fellow supers, to figure out how to stop it. And they're baffled for about 6 hours in trying. So now our home is literally full of sewage. When shit rains, shit pours. Nurse Kissy Face asks me if I want to eat, and they wheel in my dinner, a white tablecloth, silver service, and it completely reminds me of our honeymoon. I've just had a shower in the gorgeous bathroom with side jets even, and I'm sitting in a white plush robe. And I'm thinking that the last time I had room service like this was our breakfast in the bridal suite at the plaza on our first day as man and wife. I test out the word. Widow. He's lying motionless in bed. Widow. There's only one of me now. Widow. At 36. I remember when I was 18 and in Miss Gajewski's sociology class, we learned that the average age of self-actualization is 36. So for the entire second half of my life, I really look forward to what is going to happen at 36. And I am shocked now that this is it. I mean, I always suspected that he would go first, being 20 years older than me, but I never imagined it would be this soon. I climb into bed with him because I need to. I have a cot right next to his bed, but he's probably not in pain, they tell me, so I press every part of my body that I can into him. I need his touch as much as I can get so I can still hear him. I close my eyes and see a vision of myself lying in a white bed like this one, and my hair is silver and wavy. It gets curlier in my old age. And I hear him say non-verbally, I know already that when we love someone, we will see them again in heaven. And I also know that space and time are all one. Here in this vision, I know this too. And I see myself, and I see him come and kiss at me, and he kisses the gray-haired me, and I feel him say, I'll come and get you when you're ready. I will see you then. I promise. And I get into my cot. His death rattle is getting a little louder now, and I say as I fall asleep, Marcel, wake me up. Don't let me miss it. And I still do not let go of his hand. When I wake again, it's like he's moving me. I'm the zombie again, and he's controlling my body. I hit the buzzer for the nurse before I even know what I'm doing. Marceline is the name of the night nurse. I swear to God, Marceline. And she introduces herself in the dark, and I see the glow of her iPhone on Marcel's face as she checks his breathing. Boy, he really seems to be struggling, don't he? It occurred to me to ask if there's anything you can do to expedite things. I'm not totally comfortable explaining to Marceline that Marcel is the one telling me to ask. She goes and gets the added dose Kissy Face spoke of and puts it into his IV. Let's see how that do. And she's gone. I watch, holding his hand. His breathing slows. The death rattle shudders to a stop, and then one more breath. And then one more. And then nothing. And then his hand gives 3 tugs. His heart, his glorious heart, trying so hard not to stop beating in all its strength that it shudders his whole body. I get right up to his neck, and I look at that vein I always see pulsating when he sleeps. It's not moving. I kiss him on the lips and say, well, that's it. Now go tell the girls. And I see an electric blue swirl fly up and around the ceiling and out the window. That's it. He's gone, I buzz Marceline. Wow, that was quick. Yep, he gone. We hug, and she says that I must sign a few things. 3 men come in, upset that they can only harvest his eyes because of the cancer. His heart is so strong, it's really a shame no one can have it. It's a good one. Another one elbows him. I say, it's okay. You know, we believe that this is nothing more than the suit he wore, and his spirit's free now, so he's not in there. That's just his suit. Is there any place that I can make a couple of phone calls? And one of them takes me to a private waiting area where I can let people know. It's August 16th, 2:40 a.m. But I think it's okay to call family. What religion are you? Well, we were Catholic, I guess, but now you'd call us probably metaphysicists. Well, I'm asking because you're handling this really well. I mean, I know that I believe what you believe, but I don't know that I could do what you're doing. Well, he's my husband. I promised to love, honor, and cherish him. And this is what he told me he wanted. He had the strength to make the choice, and my commitment to him was to honor him. So that's what I'm doing. I'm honoring him. They asked me if I want to stay the night, and I try. But once he's gone from the room, sleep's not going to happen, I realize. So I pack my things and I walk out to Marceline. I'm going to go, okay? And she nods and gives me one last hug. I want to say I'm going to go home, but I don't have one anymore. I walk past my apartment. It's now 4 a.m. I walk, widow, alone, unmarried. These words are in the ether as I walk. And I look into my apartment. The lights are on. Marcel's fellow supers, his brethren, are all there working on his behalf in my kitchen. I look in, I mean, it's not my home anymore because it came with Marcel's job. And for the week following, my house will smell completely like shit. And that stinks. I go to the hotel and knock on the door of the room my mother is in with my kids, and I hug her forever and then fall into bed with Madeleine. She wakes up from the shuddering of my weeping. Mom, guess what? Dad is better. He's fine. I saw him. He gave me a big hug. He's all better. And I went into his room, and the nurse said he was gone because he left. Madeleine, he left, and you're right. I'm sure he is okay right now. Did he die? Yes, baby, he did. He gave me a hug. And he was wearing his green shirt. I saw him. He loves you so much. And he'll always be with you right here. And I point to her heart. It's okay, Mom. We can just go to sleep. I love you. It's okay. I'm okay. And I know just what to do for his funeral. Thank God we talked about this stuff. I know there's not going to be a casket, and it should be a celebration. And I really try to be happy for him that day. You know, it's funny because if you take the value of good and bad off things and just see it in terms of richness, this is one of the richest days of my life. What it is my wedding in reverse. I have to get a dress, black, not white. I get my hair and makeup done by a few women who love me. I stand on the altar of our church, alone this time. I stand in a receiving line of people, all hugging me, except nobody is smiling, just the opposite. A wedding in reverse, like a photograph reversed, a negative. There's one order of business that I have to take care of before heading out to my Jackie O procession. I grab the pile of mail on my kitchen table and fish out the latest white envelope with the hospital logo on it. It's the chemo bill, and the payment due is $16,000. I grab a pen. Dear Dr. Delightful Ass Motherfucker, I will not pay this bill due to dissatisfaction with outcome of services rendered. Marcel will pay you when he sees you again. And you know, I never got another bill from him. CJ's there, big, huge mess. CJ, you saved my life. Him laughing, you brought so much joy. I don't know how you did that. That's because I had no idea in a million years. I saw him getting up and walking out of there for real. Had I known I was going to lose my best friend like that, I'd have been a crying, a sobbing. And the enemy of joy was there, crying. Schadenfreude, pure Schadenfreude. I could not take more joy in her hard feelings. I don't even say a word to her, and she hasn't the audacity to. I've only seen St. Malachi's Church this packed on Christmas and Easter. Standing room only and lots of standers. Our community is rocked. It's August 27th, 2 days before Madeleine will turn 9. Well, the good news is that everyone's here for my birthday. And the bad news is it's because Dad's dead. Tomorrow is my last day being 8. Same number as Dad's abs. Gracie walks the guitar to the altar at the point where we're supposed to go to wheel in the casket. And Madeleine, following his dying wishes, sings a song. She sings, "Oh, Freedom," an old spiritual we learned for MLK celebrations at school. And the entire church, over 500 people, join in. Oh, freedom. Whoa, freedom. Whoa, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. They'll be singing, they'll be singing, they'll be singing over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Our friend Matt tells me at the funeral, "You did it, Michelle." In this world where over half of marriages end in divorce, you and Marcel did it. You honored your vows till death do you part. You had a successful marriage. It started as a small consolation, and over time, it has grown into something that feels pretty significant. I did it. We did it. We did it, babe. We did it. The end. And the new beginning.